Imagine finding out your husband didn't just cheat, but with your childhood best friend. That's the explosive rumor swirling around Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Kelly Rowland, a trio once bound by music, family, and loyalty. If true, this is more than betrayal. It's a story that could shake pop culture to its core. Rumors of celebrity affairs are nothing new, but this one cuts deeper than most. It's not just about infidelity, it's about betrayal within what was once considered a family. The whispers say Jay-Z, the billionaire mogul and husband of Beyoncé, crossed a line with none other than Kelly Rowland. For years, Kelly has been seen as Beyoncé's sister in spirit, growing up together, performing side by side in Destiny's Child, and navigating the highs and lows of fame together. So the very idea that Jay-Z and Kelly may have shared a secret relationship is enough to send shockwaves across the industry. The speculation didn't appear out of thin air. Fans began piecing together timelines, matching body language, and replaying old interviews. The gossip intensified when comparisons between Jay-Z and Kelly's son, Titan, surfaced online. Social media users couldn't ignore what they saw as striking similarities: the facial structure, the expressions, even the timing of Titan's birth in 2014. That was the same year Solange Knowles, Beyoncé's younger sister, infamously attacked Jay-Z in an elevator. For years, the public assumed Solange was defending her sister from a nameless mistress. But what if the truth was even closer to home? This possibility adds a new layer of meaning to one of the most iconic pop culture moments of the last decade. Solange wasn't just lashing out. She might have been standing up against the ultimate betrayal, a best friend tangled in her sister's marriage. For Beyoncé, who has always projected control and grace, such a scandal would explain why her art, particularly Lemonade, drips with pain, anger, and resilience. When Solange launched herself at Jay-Z in that infamous 2014 elevator ride, the world froze. Security footage leaked, showing Beyoncé standing silently while her younger sister unleashed a storm of fury on the rap mogul. At the time, the internet speculated endlessly: was it Becky with the good hair? Was it just a family spat blown out of proportion? But nearly a decade later, new theories are painting a much darker picture. What if Solange wasn't reacting to a stranger at all, but to Kelly Rowland, someone practically raised in the Knowles household? Fans argue this explanation makes sense. Solange has always been fiercely protective of her sister, unafraid to stand up when others stay silent. If she discovered Jay-Z crossing boundaries with Kelly, it would explain the rage in that elevator. This wasn't a tabloid fling. It would have been personal, intimate, and devastating for their family dynamic. The timing adds fuel to the speculation. Kelly gave birth to Titan in 2014, the same year as the elevator incident. The secrecy around her pregnancy only deepened the mystery. Unlike many celebrities who share every detail of their journey, Kelly kept things quiet. To fans, that silence felt intentional, as if too many questions might reveal too much. And Beyoncé's reaction in that moment? Her calm, almost detached composure was chilling. Some saw a woman in shock, but others saw quiet acceptance, like someone who already knew what her sister was furious about, but chose not to expose it to the cameras. That silent stance has been reinterpreted countless times. Was it strength or was it suppression? Years later, the footage still holds power because it feels unresolved. No family statement, no public explanation, just a wound that never fully healed. If Kelly truly was the cause of that explosive night, it would change how we view not just the fight, but the entire Carter-Knowles empire. In 2016, Beyoncé released Lemonade, an album that shook the music world. It wasn't just music, it was a confession, a testimony, and a declaration of survival. Every lyric carried pain, suspicion, and defiance. Fans immediately tied it to Jay-Z's infidelity, but for years the question lingered. Who was the betrayal really about? The phrase "Becky with the good hair" became a cultural phenomenon. Names like Rachel Roy and Rita Ora were thrown around, with both women facing intense online scrutiny. Yet, none of those connections ever felt like they fully explained the depth of emotion pouring out of Beyoncé's voice. Lemonade wasn't just a heartbreak album, it was war poetry. And that level of anguish made people wonder if the betrayal came from closer to home. That's where Kelly Rowland enters the narrative. As Beyoncé's bandmate, confidant, and near sister, Kelly wasn't just another woman, she was family. If Beyoncé suspected her best friend of crossing the line with her husband, Lemonade suddenly reads with even more intensity. The silence in her tone when she sings about lies and deceit, the venom in her delivery. It's the kind of pain that only comes from someone deeply trusted breaking your heart, and fans haven't forgotten the timeline. Just 2 years after the elevator fight and Titan's birth, Beyoncé dropped an album that scorched the earth. The music videos dripped with symbolism, smashing cars, fire, floods, and imagery of betrayal. It felt like therapy through art, a way of telling her truth without naming names. Whether Kelly was the hidden Becky or not, Lemonade confirmed one thing: something devastating happened behind closed doors. And the fallout wasn't just personal, it was immortalized in one of the most powerful albums of the decade. While Beyoncé was rising to superstardom, Kelly Rowland's career followed a very different path. Despite her undeniable talent, she was often cast in the shadows, always the supporting act rather than the main star. Many insiders blame Knowles, Destiny's Child's manager and Beyoncé's father, for the imbalance. Stories have circulated for years that he deliberately styled Kelly in duller outfits, gave her weaker verses, and pushed her to the background so Beyoncé could shine brighter. For Kelly, that kind of treatment left lasting scars. It wasn't just professional, it was personal. She grew up in the Knowles household, living with Beyoncé's family as a teenager, which made the favoritism sting even more. Imagine being raised alongside someone you love like a sister, only to feel constantly second place in both family and career. In 2013, Kelly released Dirty Laundry, a raw and emotional track that offered the public a rare glimpse into her pain. The song spoke of abuse, jealousy, and watching someone close to her succeed while she suffered silently. She described hiding in the background, swallowing her feelings while others celebrated. The lyrics were haunting because they hinted at secrets deeper than what fans could see. Yet, Kelly never revealed who the song was truly about. None of her public relationships seemed to fit the toxic figure she described. That mystery left the door wide open for speculation. Could she have been hinting at something more explosive, like a relationship she could never acknowledge publicly? The unanswered questions from Dirty Laundry still hang in the air. Combined with her quiet demeanor and private personal life, fans believe Kelly may have been carrying a hidden burden for years. Whether connected to Jay-Z or not, the song revealed a woman trapped between loyalty, silence, and the weight of secrets too dangerous to share. When it comes to Jay-Z, infidelity rumors have followed him for decades. But beyond whispers of affairs, there are also allegations of children he has refused to acknowledge. One of the most prominent cases is that of Rymir Satterthwaite, who claims the rapper is his biological father. His mother, Wanda, alleged that she had a brief encounter with Jay-Z in the early 1990s, when she was just 16 years old and Jay was 22. According to Wanda, she became pregnant shortly after and gave birth to Rymir, but Jay-Z never stepped forward. For years, Wanda tried to get him to take a paternity test. She filed paperwork, went through legal channels, and even spoke out publicly. But Jay-Z, one of the most powerful men in music, managed to sidestep the situation. His legal team allegedly dragged things out in court, throwing up obstacles until Wanda passed away in 2019, still searching for closure for her son. Rymir has continued the fight, insisting that Jay-Z is his father and that he has a right to the truth. What makes this story especially haunting is the timeline. If Wanda's age at the time of the alleged relationship is accurate, it paints an even darker picture. Jay-Z's refusal to test, then, might not only be about money or reputation, it could be about avoiding a scandal that would have destroyed the billion-dollar empire he and Beyoncé built together. For fans, this wasn't just about one man dodging responsibility. It was about patterns. A man accused of fathering children he won't claim, cheating rumors that never fully go away, and a track record of women hinting at connections with him. When you place Kelly Rowland into this mix, the story suddenly feels less unbelievable. Titan's rumored resemblance to Jay-Z isn't just a meme. It's another piece in a puzzle fans have been trying to solve for years. And while Jay-Z carefully curates his image as a businessman and cultural icon, these unresolved scandals remain shadows he can never fully escape. For years, Beyoncé and Kelly Rowland were inseparable. They weren't just bandmates, they were sisters in every way that mattered. They shared stages, homes, and life milestones, building a bond that fans thought could never be broken. But in recent years, something has shifted. The warmth, the closeness, the effortless sisterhood, it all seems to have faded. Fans have noticed the difference. When Destiny's Child reunited at events like the Super Bowl or Coachella, the performances were flawless, but the energy felt manufactured. The smiles seemed polite, the interactions rehearsed. Gone was the natural ease that once defined their relationship. Instead, there was a distance, subtle but undeniable. Supporters of the affair theory argue that this coldness is proof of a deep betrayal. If Beyoncé believed Jay-Z and Kelly had crossed the line, it would explain why she now keeps Kelly at arm's length. They still pose together when required, still speak respectfully of each other, but the emotional closeness appears fractured. For two women who were once like family, that kind of shift is difficult to hide, no matter how polished the public image. The tension becomes even clearer when you look at Beyoncé's role as a cultural symbol. She is seen as untouchable, flawless, and in control. For her, maintaining that image means keeping private wounds hidden. So when she and Kelly appear together, Beyoncé knows the world is watching. She can't show cracks in her armor. But fans, ever observant, point out that the lack of warmth says more than words ever could. For Kelly, the distance is equally telling. Once vocal about her love and admiration for Beyoncé, she now seems more guarded, more careful in how she speaks. Whether it's self-protection or guilt, the shift adds fuel to the fire. To outsiders, it looks like two women maintaining a brand rather than a bond. And in Hollywood, where silence often speaks louder than confession, that strained distance might be the clearest sign that something truly broke between them. At the end of the day, none of these rumors have ever been confirmed. No one in the Carter-Knowles circle has stepped forward to admit or deny what really happened. But that silence is exactly what keeps the story alive. Fans continue to connect dots. Titan's birth in 2014, the elevator fight, Beyoncé's Lemonade, Kelly's dirty laundry, and the growing emotional distance between two women once inseparable. Hollywood has shown us time and time again that where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And while the truth may never be spoken out loud, the consistency of these details makes people wonder. Was Solange really protecting her sister from a nameless mistress? Or was she lashing out at a betrayal closer to home? Did Beyoncé channel her pain into music not just about infidelity, but about losing trust in her closest friend? And has Kelly been quietly carrying a burden she can never share? For Jay-Z, the narrative has always been carefully managed. He followed Lemonade with 444, presenting himself as a man in therapy, seeking redemption. But he never named names, never gave specifics. For many, it felt like damage control, a polished apology without addressing the wreckage. The result is a story frozen in fragments. Betrayal, rumors, silence, and art. A puzzle that fans keep piecing together, even years later. Whether Kelly Rowland was truly involved or not, the scars of that era are still visible in the way these relationships look today. And maybe that's the most telling clue of all.